Join me as I take on the challenge of finger painting like a pro, but here's the twist, I can only use 2 colors. Finger painting is an incredibly accessible form of art that anyone can do, and today I'm excited to show you just how much creativity you can unlock with just 2 colors. I think we've all been guilty of it at some point. We assume that the more colors we have, the better our art will be. But I'm here to tell you that's just not true. In fact, having limited colors can actually be a blessing in disguise. It forces us to think creatively, to push ourselves outside of our comfort zones, and to explore new ways of doing things. And that's exactly what we're going to do today. One of the biggest misconceptions about finger painting is that it's just about smearing paint around on a piece of paper. But the truth is, it's a highly technical medium that requires skill, patience, and practice. When you're working with limited colors, you have to get really intentional about how you're using those colors, and that's what makes it so challenging. But it's also what makes it so rewarding. So, if you're ready to challenge your assumptions about finger painting and see just how much you can accomplish with just 2 colors, then let's get started. Alright, let's dive into the process of creating this beautiful piece of art with just 2 colors. The first thing I want to talk about is color mixing. When you're working with just 2 colors, you have to get creative about how you mix them to create different shades and hues. One technique I like to use is layering. I'll start with a base color, and then add layers of the second color on top to create depth and dimension. Another technique I like to use is blending. By blending the 2 colors together, I can create a range of subtle, nuanced shades that add interest and complexity to the piece. And of course, no finger painting video would be complete without talking about textures. I love using different techniques to create unique textures, like dragging my fingers across the paper or using my palms to create soft, sweeping strokes. As I'm working on this piece, I'm constantly thinking about how I can use these 2 colors to create contrast, balance, and harmony. It's a delicate balance, but when you get it right, it's absolutely magic. And I have to say, I'm really loving how this piece is coming together. The 2 colors are working together in a way that's surprising and beautiful, and it's really defying my initial expectations. So, here's the final piece of art, and I'm just blown away by how beautiful it is. The 2 colors have come together in a way that's surprising, but also totally cohesive. It's a great reminder that sometimes, the limitations we put on ourselves can actually be a blessing in disguise. By working with just 2 colors, I was forced to think creatively and push myself outside of my comfort zone. The key takeaway from today's video is that creativity is not about having a lot of resources, it's about being intentional with the resources you have. Finger painting is a great way to express yourself and tap into your creative side, and it doesn't have to be complicated or expensive. If you give finger painting a try with just 2 colors, I'd love to see what you come up with. Share your creations in the comments below, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more art tips and techniques. Try to avoid all the common finger painting mistakes while creating a mini canvas in record time. Finger painting on mini canvases has become increasingly popular among artists and hobbyists, and it's easy to see why. It's a fun, expressive, and accessible way to create art, even with limited space or equipment. And who doesn't love the idea of creating a beautiful piece of art that fits in the palm of your hand? When it comes to finger painting, however, many of us have experienced the frustration of making mistakes that can ruin an otherwise great piece of art. And when you're working on a small scale, those mistakes can be even more noticeable. From smudges and smears, to uneven colors and poor composition, the challenges of finger painting on mini canvases are unique and require some special considerations. One of the biggest mistakes people make when finger painting on mini canvases is not planning ahead. Without a clear idea of what you want to create, it's easy to get carried away with colors and textures, resulting in a muddy, uncoordinated mess. Another common mistake is not preparing your canvas properly. Using the wrong kind of paint or not priming your canvas can lead to poor adhesion, flaking, and other issues that can be impossible to fix. And then there's the issue of color mixing. When you're working with small amounts of paint, it's easy to end up with colors that are too bright, too pale, or just plain unattractive. And if you're not careful, you can end up with a color palette that clashes rather than harmonizes. Trying to fix these kinds of mistakes can be a nightmare, especially on a small canvas where every brushstroke counts. In addition to these common mistakes, many artists struggle with handling the mini canvas itself. Whether it's accidentally smudging the paint, or dropping the canvas and getting fingerprints all over it, there are any number of ways to ruin a piece of art before it's even finished. One of the most common mistakes I see people making is not using the right consistency of paint. If the paint is too thick, it can be hard to blend and merge colors, resulting in a stiff, unnatural look. On the other hand, if the paint is too thin, it can be difficult to control, leading to drips, runs, and other accidents. When it comes to mixing colors, it's essential to have a clear idea of what you want to achieve. Are you going for bright, bold colors, or soft, muted tones? Do you want to create a sense of contrast, or a sense of harmony? By thinking about these questions ahead of time, you can avoid some of the most common color mixing mistakes and create a palette that's truly beautiful. But even with all these potential pitfalls, there is one crucial tip that can make all the difference in your finger painting experience. Are you ready for it? It's all about using a reference image. Having a clear idea of what you want to create, and being able to refer to it as you work, can help you stay focused, avoid mistakes, and create a piece of art that's truly stunning. Using a reference image can help you plan your composition, choose your colors, and even anticipate potential mistakes before they happen. And even if you do make a mistake, having a reference image can help you correct it and get back on track. By following these tips and avoiding some of the most common finger painting mistakes, you can create a beautiful piece of art on even the smallest of canvases. Remember to plan ahead, prepare your canvas, mix your colors carefully, and handle your canvas with care. And most importantly, don't be afraid to make mistakes, they're all part of the creative process. Thanks for watching, and I hope you learned some valuable tips for avoiding common finger painting mistakes on mini canvases. If you have any experiences or tips to share, be sure to leave them in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe for more tutorials and painting tips, and check out my video on advanced painting techniques for even more inspiration.